the dry, rugged lands of Marsabit and Samburu, herders endure a harsh environment defined by scarcity and conflict with neighboring communities. This is a place of resilience where survival is a daily challenge. Amidst this, we find a group deeply rooted in tradition and culture. These are the Morans.
Morans, unajua ni mzuri kwanza ujue Morans ni vijana ambaye wale wamekaa bila kuingia shule kwa muda mpaka wamekuwa wakubwa. Sasa ndo wamechukua ile kazi yao ni malisho tu, kuchunga mali tu.
Morans are categorized into, they are of gender mix, they are girls and boys. They call themselves Chokuti. Chokuti are looking after animals, then after that they come back to be taught during the evening hours.
It is very rare to find a Moran who is just walking alone. They will always be in pairs. They are cultured in such a way that even they are not supposed to eat alone. They are not supposed to eat in front of people. Their interaction also even with women is limited. And even carrying food, they would not allow themselves to be seen carrying food.
Morans, or Chukuts, animal caretakers, are more than herders. They are the warriors and protectors of their communities. Their days revolve around livestock, staying far from the settlements for long periods.
They are supposed to be a group that is ready for war when the community needs it. And so even their interaction with the rest of the community is limited. They are responsible for mainly the most valuable resource of the community, which are animals. And therefore they will stay for long periods of time in grazing fields, which are usually very far from the settlements of most of these communities.
Their role is clear: safeguard their wealth and remain ready to defend their people whenever needed.
Unajua watu wanafikiria Warani, wanapata ile notion mbaya ya Warani. Warani sio, Warani they are very disciplined. Warani ni wanajiheshimu wenyewe. Na pia kwa ile mambo ya security wise, Warani wako sawa. Si ati ni watu wanashukulia kwa ubaya, ati hii watu ni watu ambaye wako violent wakati wote. Kazi yao ni kuchunga jamii na kuchunga mali pia. Hiyo tu.
Tradition keeps many Morans from pursuing education. During circumcision, they leave school for months. Some never return.
Pastoralist communities, education is still not a priority, and particularly now for the Morans, who it is thought of they are the strongest within the community. Education would take them away from that main task of guarding the community, and therefore many of them shy away from formal education altogether.
A lot of Morans during the circumcision period time, where they've stayed like 1 year, most of them they have gone out of school because of that Moranism. But as an administrators, we have engaged that we have made sure those who have been in school, we have brought them back to school. The other things, we have Morans who have not been in the age of 18, so they are still in 15, 12, and something like that. So we emphasize a lot so that we can get these boys back to school. One of the things, we are very aggressive in terms of bringing these boys back to school.
For those who try to balance school and herding, learning happens only in the evenings. Others drop out entirely, choosing small business or full-time herding instead.
Not most of the time that we get these Morans to participate in classes. The only time that they're very much available is at evening hours when the animals come back home during the evening. So they get a little time of attending those classes.
Kuna wengine hawapati, wengine hawapati hiyo nafasi ya kuja shule kwa sababu wanaenda hakuna kitu wako nayo. Wanaenda kufanya biashara kidogo kidogo alafu wapate kitu ya kuisha na watoto yao.
Since shule mnapikiwa and then shule muna interact sana, kuna wasichana, Morani hafai kula chakula mbele ya wasichana. That's what they believe in. Morani pia kujisaidia kitu kama kwenda msalani nini si mbele ya wasichana. So unapata challenges kidogo kidogo kama hiyo ndio inafanya Warani wana feel hawezi endelea na shule. Plus pale wanapoacha mali huko manyumbani na face na shida mingi. Ndio utapata Warani wakienda shule wazee watakuwa na ile nguvu kama Warani ya kuprotect ile mali. Na kuna hiyo raids ambao ni kutoka majirani wengine kama Oromo huko Somali wanakuja kuingilia. So bila Warani huko hiyo mali inaenda.
Tawana msina ngene mecho yona sema ngene mecho isam gumuyo na mechi ma yusubul. Nane nda madana gere. Pai na nane mecho yina nyamal mecho yoma di ya jamine ko som. Agora ndo no vai na majiri ko ego kasina na sem.
In a culture where survival is key, the question remains, what role does education play? Education is not always seen as a necessity, but rather as a distant option.
School. Itu na bagay kita kiyol maran school. Hindi ito bagay maran mata yang gara anak na kita kiyosyo. Na parna daga bata na mata. Na diso mangangide, yo bagay ni kita ngana na kera. Ngawa na baku aida sama na kule parki desa sama.
So ndio sasa tunajaribu kidogo kuongelesha hawa kwa mkutano zetu. Din location tukisumuka. Kuongea nao at least umuhimu ya masomo. Tuseme ati ni mbaya kuwa mrani lakini inakusaidia pia kwa maisha yako.
Medina do shida na kidazi. Padane medazi. Hoda do no ya pada jitu dene tu na gendas marniana. Eka ya na kwa na ba misaidia na umeana. Idana na ndo meda. Nigiri dine tu.
Kitu ya kwanza najua masomo once ukipata knowledge hiyo. Kitu ya kwanza yani unaanza kupata hiyo akili. Sio lazima ati usome tu upite mtihani ama nini. Inakusaidia hata kwa mambo ya biashara kidogo kama kuna hiyo livestock business. Mtu ananunua mbuzi anaenda kuuza, unajua soko iko free. Haiko strict ati ndio mama peke yao, wazee ndio wanauza. Pia Warani wanakubaliwa waingie kwa hiyo biashara. Wafanye ndio waache hiyo tabia ya kukaa tu kwa kichaka mara mingi.
Education helped them to transform from Moranism because these people get help of learning the language that will make them to be vast to the world. When they meet other people, they can even be able to express themselves. You know, they only have one language. They talk only their mother tongue. But when they participate to class, in fact, they will get to learn Kiswahili. See, they can present themselves and they go to any office because they have already mastered the language they have been taught in the literacy classes.
We have a Samburu technical and vocational training here where they can have an artisan training. So we are engaging with them so that we can recruit them in artisan work.
Masomo itasaidia maisha Warani kitu moja, tutakuwa na awareness. Juu unapata Warani hawajui vitu za veterinary hivi sana. So unapata saa zingine ugonjwa inamaliza mali na Warani they are not aware kwa kuna ugonjwa kama hizo.
Being that men are generally the leaders of the community, education carries the potential of transforming the entire community as it were. With the coming of devolution and the opportunities that are available in counties, education would really provide other opportunities apart from just grazing.
For generations, families have kept their sons away from school, believing that knowledge of learning, trade, and protection is far more valuable than what is taught in a classroom. Yet, mindsets are slowly shifting.
Iyo nagani kusoma dake, mutu mabuni tegengeno na buna baka se biashara. Asikinya na bagani jade. Iyo baka tara bikini. Saka baga biashara ndi kuma ajinga kasi no siama nyong siam no bamer. Iyo nagani iyo ndu ko boga. Igera to lenga mun dani jiru wongera no ai somai. Igera to lenga mu injo siam no no mikisho mameragi. Diga singera no biashara, nimedi mdagi. Ay kor budo gele kay pipi lino kay ber tanggang meta tongan na rogule tongan de singara ina di yugo ngere no kiyo da solo kas po ndo ko yende ka tongan denje.
What if education could be delivered differently? Education does not have to disrupt their way of life. It can adapt to it. An evening education program once existed for Morans. It was a promising step, a chance to balance learning and tradition.
Like 4 years, 4 to 7 years ago, there was a bit of adult education. It was called hardest by that time. So people have been taught at night. We had some classes at night in different places. So again, after that, after some time, it all disappeared because maybe of the funds. We lack teachers because the county government here, they don't provide about the hardest education. They only specify on education, the basic education.
Now, the challenge is to find new ways to bring learning to where the Morans are, to ensure education works for them rather than against them. One possibility is engaging teachers who can move with the Morans, providing lessons at grazing grounds or in the evenings when they return from the fields. Mobile learning, flexible class schedules, and community-driven education models could bridge the gap between tradition and knowledge.
For we can get sort of that hardest education, it will be very important for these people because they also need education, as they also need to look after the animals.
They will spend many months, perhaps even years, away from their families with the livestock, moving from grazing field to grazing field, which may take them even as far as 250 kilometers away. So this means whatever education solution that is available to them is tailored to possibly move with them where they are. It requires maybe perhaps someone who will need to move with them as they move, deliver it to them perhaps at night when perhaps the activities of the day have ceased, and therefore it would have to be something tailor-made just for them and their way of life.
For years, Morans have missed out on opportunities that others have taken. Without education, they are unable to access jobs or government programs.
There are quite a number of opportunities available, but which are taken up by people from other places, because many of the people here have not had an education themselves. For these areas to develop, for these communities to develop, it needs their local people to have the education, the resources that they need, and education is one of those, for them to scale that ladder of development and economic empowerment. Education provides an opportunity for them to make better decisions for their communities, for their families, for the entire region as it were. And therefore, this, if education is available to them, it would be a game changer.
Education can finally reach those who've been long left behind. And when it does, the future of the Morans will no longer be one of missed opportunities, but of strength, wisdom, and endless possibilities.
Hello. Odin.